Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Foreclosure Help 777, where we talk about everything foreclosure related. This is my private Facebook group, guys, so if you're in foreclosure and you want some help, you can join my group. And we do help each other out with our foreclosures, whether it means filing as a plaintiff or filing as a defendant, whatever, we are there to help each other. Today we're going to talk about the Winslows from Colorado and their case, how it's going on. Let's take a look at their case. This is Pacer. If you want to look at it online, it's 124CV03302. And you can see the last date of the last filing was on 4/1/25, which is today. And they filed their original complaint on 11/26/24, which stopped a non-judicial foreclosure. And you can see how this case had been proceeding through the courts here. They filed a motion to dismiss, and then the Winslows filed a opposition to motion to dismiss. And then they filed an amended complaint. Then they filed a new motion to dismiss here. And then the other side filed a opposition to motion to dismiss. But the Winslows haven't filed that yet, because here, if you look at the case, let's see here. The last thing, as far as the motion to dismiss, you see they filed their amended complaint here on 3/6/25. And the judge said that's the order. And then they filed a new motion to dismiss on 3/28/25, which, by the way, was 1 day late. Whenever they do something outside the time frame, you have to look up the local rule in the court to see exactly what it says as far as timelines, because one of the things you'll want to do if they don't follow the rules and they're late at filing, then you want to file a motion to strike. And that's what we're going to go over today. You can see here document 48, which was filed on 3/31/25 and entered on 4/1, is a motion to strike. So let's take a look at their motion to strike. Okay, and here it is right here. Motion to strike defendant's late motion to dismiss. Comes now plaintiffs Roderick Winslow and Charnel Henderson, pro se, respectfully move this court to strike defendant's motion to dismiss filed on March 28, 2025, as it was filed after the established deadline of March 27, 2025, in violation of the local rules. In support of this motion, plaintiff states as follows. Background. On March 6, 2025, the court granted plaintiff's motion for leave to file an amended complaint and instructed the defendant to file a motion to dismiss within 21 days or by March 27, 2025. Defendant was required to file their motion to dismiss by March 27th as the time prescribed by the court's order. On March 17, 2025, the court granted defendant's unopposed motion for enlargement of page limit, allowing the defendant to file a 25-page motion to dismiss. However, this order did not extend the filing deadline for the motion itself. Defendant did not file their motion to dismiss by the March 27, 2025 deadline, and as of the date of this motion, defendant has filed the motion to dismiss after the deadline. Argument. Pursuant to the District of Colorado, Local Rule 6.1, any motion for an extension of time must be filed before the expiration of the time limits prescribed by the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. In this case, defendant failed to request a timely extension of the filing deadline for their motion to dismiss. The failure to timely file a motion for extension of time or obtain a court-approved extension means that the motion to dismiss filed after the deadline was filed untimely and violation of these rules. Given the untimeliness of defendant's motion to dismiss, plaintiffs respectfully request that the court strike the motion and deny it as procedurally improper. And then there's something called the one extension rule. Under the District of Colorado, Local Rule Civil Rule 6.1, parties are allowed only one extension of time to respond to a pleading, which must be filed before the original time expires. Defendant was granted an extension of time to respond to the verified complaint until January 7, or January 27, 2025. So in other words, they've already used their one timeout, if you know what I mean. If you follow football, you know, they only have so many timeouts to use, and after that's it, they don't have any more. Same thing goes for this. They already used their one extension rule on January 27th, so they don't have any more to use. Conclusion. For the reasons set forth above, plaintiffs respectfully request that the court grant this motion to strike defendant's motion to dismiss filed on March 28, 2025, as it was filed beyond the prescribed deadline and in clear violation of the local rules governing extensions of time. The defendant has already used their one allowed extension, and no additional extension has been requested or granted, making their motion to dismiss untimely and procedurally improper. Allowing the defendant's motion to dismiss to stand would not only disregard the clear procedural rules, but would also unfairly prejudice plaintiffs by rewarding noncompliance with the court's established deadlines. In the interest of fairness and judicial efficiency, this motion to strike should be granted. Wherefore, plaintiffs Roderick Winslow and Charnel Henderson respectfully request that the court strike the defendant's untimely motion to dismiss and grant any other relief deemed just and proper. Okay, and then they have what's called a certificate of conferral. Plaintiffs have made good faith effort to confer pursuant to D.C. Colorado Civil Procedure 7.1 with defendant's counsel regarding the untimely filing of the motion to dismiss. Plaintiffs contacted defendant's counsel on March 28th, but despite these efforts, defendant's counsel has not provided a satisfactory explanation for the delay, and no resolution has been reached. Okay, so they had to sign that. And then a certificate of service to the other side. So what do you think their excuse was? Are you guys even curious? Let's take a look at an email that was submitted by the other side's attorney. She says, "Good morning. I believe there was an inadvertent tasking error at our office, which resulted in the motion being filed on Friday morning rather than by end of day Thursday. The motion should not be stricken as this half-day delay was very brief and has not resulted in any prejudice to your ability to respond or otherwise proceed in this case. Thank you, Christina from Messner and Reeves." Okay, well, you know, that excuse doesn't fly if you ask me. And what's this half-day bullshit? Because, I mean, if you look at the docket, they didn't file it. They don't count half days. Their motion to dismiss was filed on 3/28/25, which was a whole day late, no half day late. So, just so you know, I think that's bull crap what they're trying to pull, and the Winslows aren't going to let them get away with it. So they filed their motion to strike. Now, they also will file an opposition to their motion to dismiss in a few days, but they're going to wait and see what the judge does with this first. The other thing I wanted to show you guys was if you're fighting the banks, whether you're the defendant or the plaintiff, you need to look up your local rules for whatever court you're in. In this case, the Winslows are in the federal court for the District of Colorado, and the local rules of practice are located here, and you can always download them. But you want the latest and greatest, because this will help you to make sure you don't make any filing mistakes. And the local rules are there for a reason, so that you follow them. And if the other side doesn't follow them, you ding them accordingly, like we just did. It's very important, guys, that you understand how to read these rules. And if you don't understand any of these rules, send me an email, guys, and I will help you understand them, because you got to understand these rules, especially when it comes to pleadings and motions. As you can see, some of these rules here you got to go through, and the rule that we're talking about as far as, 7.1, the motions, they had 21 days to respond and they didn't do it. They took 22 days. Again, this is the kind of stuff you guys need to know. So it goes through all the rules regarding everything from motions and pleadings to format of your pleadings, Amended pleadings are very important to make sure that you understand how to correctly amend your pleadings if you have to do that. And discovery. Very important that you read your discovery rules to make sure that you do it correctly. And trial information. If your case makes it to trial, guys, you want to make sure you read those rules too. So just so you guys know, These are very important things. I think that the local rules are the most important thing you guys have to look into and read so that you don't make mistakes or missteps when you're fighting the bank. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below or send me an email to foreclosurehelp777@gmail.com. It's spelled just like this with the number 4, foreclosurehelp777@gmail.com. And I hope everybody has a blessed day. And thank you for subscribing.